Hi, good morning. Just going to do a quick video for anyone that obviously may not be able to join the session. I'll try and actually record in the future the actual session we're doing, but until I've worked that out, I'm just going to do this for now. Okay, so what we're going to do for the beginning is we need to recap 2D and 3D shapes. So today's lesson is basically just going to let me know how much you remember or how much we need to recap. We may not need to do anything, but we'll see. Okay, so the do now task, I'd like you to obviously go onto Assess Prep, make sure that you can find this task on Assess Prep, and this is the code. If not, the link is on Google Classroom, that will take you straight there. That's just going to let me know who has actually joined the lesson and the material and has given it a go. And the first task isn't that difficult. It's just to make sure, okay, you know which formula goes with which, and we can write them differently. So maybe pause the video, give it a go, but let's have a little look at the answers. So a nice easy one is, is the triangle, which is base times height divided by 2. Sometimes we like to write it as a half base times height as well. So that one is for the triangle. Then the next one that we can look at, again, you're given these on the formula page. You don't have to remember them, but it is important to understand them. And I feel like if you remember them, you understand them. So the next thing to look at here is an easy one, is the parallelogram at the bottom. Okay, it's just the same as if you were doing a rectangle. It's base times height. You just need to make sure that you're looking at the correct height. So them two go together. Right, and then the top two, you've got a trapezium and you've got a semicircle. So a trapezium, we should know that we have two parallel lines. So you add them together, you divide them by 2, or sometimes you might see it like this. Okay, so you add them together, you divide it by 2, or you times it by a half, and then you times it by the height. So these two formulas are the same. So that's for this one. And then the last one, obviously, it's the area of a circle, which is pi r squared, but it's only a semicircle, so you would divide that by 2. So that's just manipulating the area of a circle. Okay, so that's your do now task. So that's on Assess Prep, so you can use the drawing tool to join them together. Right, and then things to know. So these are all given on the formula page. And the formula page is on the bottom of the Assess Prep task. So these are the formulas that you will be given in your real E assessments and any assessments that we do. So these are just areas of shapes. And then these are the volume and surface area as well of some 3D shapes. So these are all the formulas that you should have seen before. And that's what I'm going to test today. I'm going to give you some random questions and to see if you do actually know. But just to start the lesson, and then you're going to go away and do some tasks, I just thought we'd have a little look at these questions here. So maybe if you're watching this after the session, maybe pause the video now, give it a go, and I will go through some of the answers. So the first question wants us to do the perimeter of this part of a circle. So it's a sector of a circle. So some of the key things that should stand out is that if the radius is 6 millimeters, then it's 6 millimeters also on the other side, because the radius doesn't change. And I need to just work out the part of the circumference. So if you think about a whole circle, we know that the angle around a point is 360 degrees. So that would be the whole circle. If you're only taking a sector of that circle, the angle that it gave us here is 90 degrees. So it's a quarter of the circle, okay? So a quarter of the circle, you can either write that as 90 over 360, or you can actually simplify it to a quarter. And because we're only looking for part of the circumference, we're going to just do 2 times by pi times by the radius, which is 6, okay? Or you can just do diameter times by pi, either will work. So if you do this, you should have Desmos open, or if you're on the Assess Prep task, your scientific calculator will be there. So once you've done that, we're going to have a quarter times by 2 times by pi, and then times by 6, and that is going to give you 9.42. Remember, that's only part of the circumference, okay? It's not the whole thing. You have to then add on, because it wants the perimeter, the radius twice. So it's 9.42 plus 6 and then plus 6. So your answer for this question should be 21.4 millimeters because it wants it to 3 significant figures. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one wants to find the perimeter to 1 decimal place. So the perimeter obviously again is the outside of the shape. So I know this over here is 10 centimeters. And then we have again, in this case, it's a semicircle at the top. To be able to work out the semicircle, we need to know what the diameter is, which is 11 centimeters, which means the radius is going to be 5.5 because it's half the diameter. Okay, so to work out actually what this semicircle is, it was in the do now task. I am going to, well, it was the area, sorry, but again, same principle. The circumference of a circle is 2 times by pi times by the radius, which is 5.5. Because it's a semicircle, I need to divide that by 2. Okay, so if you put that in, 2 times by pi times by 5.5, divide that by 2, we are going to get 17.2, well actually 17.3 to 1 decimal place, and that's centimeters. And then the last thing you need to do, so that's this part, is add them all together. So 10 plus 10 plus 11 plus the answer that you've just got. Okay, so your answer for this question plus 31 is 48.3 centimeters. Okay, so these questions are not necessarily going to be on the assess prep task, but these are questions that you should have been able to answer. So you're going to head over now to assess prep and you are going to have a little look. So here's the task. You're going to have a little look at that task and just give it a go. So it's going to ask you different things. It's going to ask you maybe the volume. It might ask you to sketch something. It might ask you for the surface area, but you have all these formulas to help you. And then the last question, it is a criteria B question because it's one of the most important questions in the MYP assessment. So then just give that a go. It shouldn't take you longer than the lesson. If you need me, email me. If you're seeing this lesson outside of the lesson time, again, email me, but I might not be at the laptop if you email me after school, but I will get back to you. Okay, so I hope you're all okay and hope that video does help. Make sure before you submit that you complete the exit ticket. That's the last question on Assess Prep.